The truth is, we never know. Hello, I'm Felipe Drago and welcome to Drago Drums. Why did I start with that phrase? Because it's the truth. We never know. I could tell you many examples in my life where that it's very true. From a person I thought nothing would come out. A lot of work came out from a person I never thought in a million years they would like drum lessons, and they've been having lessons with me for quite some time now. So the truth is we never know. And why am I talking about this? Because especially when we're young, we don't think like that. When we have our very first professional band that starts making money, we think that's gonna last forever. And unfortunately, that's not the norm. That's a rarity. Probability tells me that you watching this video right now, if you haven't been playing for some time now, it's not the very first professional band you've played. If you are, consider yourself very lucky. I lost count of how many bands I've been part of, which is not bad. It's just the way it is. And to be honest, it's a great thing because the more bands I play with, the more people I know. And whenever I need musicians, I have a bunch of people to choose from. The other thing about we never know is sometimes a person who is not very important in the music business becomes very important in the music business. And if you treated that person with respect, chances are this person will treat you with respect. And if you need anything, they will help you. But there's something that's more day-to-day thing that I want to talk about. And I want to talk about the last time a chance meeting turned into work. As probably you know, I'm a regular at blues jams here in London. And the blues jams are very democratic because you can have professional musicians, semi-pro musicians, and people who only play at the jam. And it's not about showing off. It's about going there and meeting your friends and having a good time. And for that purpose alone, it's great. But also for professional musicians, it's a great place for networking because there you meet a lot of people, and these people might one day need a drummer, a guitarist, a singer, whatever it is, and they're gonna call you. And sometimes when the universe is telling you that nothing's gonna happen through that person, it's wrong. At that moment, nothing's gonna happen, but you never know. For example, the last time it happened was there's this guitar player I know from the blues jams, and since his son was born, he kind of disappeared, which is obviously understandable. He was quite regular as I am. We used to talk a lot. We had always a great time playing together, and we were always talking about starting something. And he told me many times, if you need a guitar player, just call me and I'll be there. He's not a professional musician. He has a 9-to-5 job. He plays to a very high standard, and he never plays for free unless it's a jam session situation, obviously. So he's very respectful of the profession of music. But at the moment we were talking about it, nothing was happening from either of us. Then a couple months later, he joined a band that had a drummer. I could have the attitude of, this guy who's not even a professional has a band, and me, a professional, I don't. But I'm old enough and experienced enough to know that these things happen. I played a gig in this band because their drummer couldn't make it, and they called me. And then months later, when was like, if I was younger, if this would happen when I was younger, probably I would dismiss this guy because, you know what, he has a band. Why bother, you know? But I'm older, wiser, and kinder. So he was still a guy that I would message from time to time, just asking, especially after his son was born, and ask how the son was doing. And one day, out of the blue, he texted me and said, there's some people I know, they need a drummer. If you're available and you would be interested in playing with them, let me know and I'll give your number to them. And if I'm free, I'm always up for a gig. And he said, yeah, of course. And then it was a dab situation. And I was like, oh my God, here we go again, dab situation. This band, they had a gig. For whatever reason, their drummer couldn't make it and they needed a replacement. And I went there and I played. We all had a great time and I never heard from the guys again, but they had a drummer. But then this is the thing where you never know. Then the singer in the band called me months later and said, there's this gig that's not very serious. It's to play during a barbecue in front of a church on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah, I know. I'm not making this up. It's actually happened. Would you be interested? After I've learned that we were going to get paid, I said, yeah, I don't mind. If I'm a professional, if I'm free and it's a paid gig, I'll do it. And then I went there and I did the gig. Then a couple more weeks and he called me and said, well, this woman hired a band I used to have for her birthday party, but the band doesn't exist anymore. It's a mainly originals band, a few covers, but the drummer moved out of London. Because she wants this band at her birthday party, I need a drummer. Would you be interested? Yeah, so they sent me the originals. I've learned. We had a rehearsal and we played the gig. But it was always like this. Oh, this person can't. I don't have a drummer. Nothing was for sure. Then a few weeks after that, he called me again and said, there is this gig in front of the church again. Would you be interested? And then at that time, I couldn't do it because I had another gig that I had booked and I wouldn't have enough time to do both. So I told him I cannot, but I'll try to find you a drummer. And then I gave him a friend's number. At the end, this other drummer at the last minute decided not to do the gig for whatever reason, which was very upsetting for everybody, including myself, because it was a guy that I personally recommended. But the proof that we'd never know. When that happened, the thing I was thinking was, this guy is never going to call me again, because first of all, it's never regular. Second of all is, now a friend of mine, a guy I personally recommended, decided not to do the gig. And lo and behold, few weeks later, probably a month or so later, he called me and said, well, I'm thinking of putting this band together, but I really want to make it different this time. Instead of like what everybody does, I want like 2 guitars, keyboards, horns, maybe in the future backing vocals, percussion, who knows. And I was like, whoa, finally somebody wants to do a band with me. And I was all excited, even though I know bands this big, they're hard work to get them going. He booked a rehearsal, and on the day that we were supposed to have the rehearsal, the guy who was supposed to be the bass player decided he didn't want to do the band anymore. That was last year, around October 2022. Rehearsal canceled, and then I told him, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to Brazil for 3 weeks. So if you want to book anything, it will have to be with another drummer or when I come back. And by this time, when I went to Brazil, I wasn't already thinking anything, because it was never regular with this guy. And when he tried to have a proper band, something happened. The band didn't move forward, and I was going to Brazil. But against all odds, not to sound like Phil Collins, he booked a rehearsal for 1 week after I arrived from Brazil. Instead of the full thing, it would be the guitars, bass, keyboards, and drums. And the keyboard, for whatever reason, couldn't make it, but we decided to do the rehearsal anyway. And then we were kind of not knowing exactly what to do, because there was no keyboards, there was no horns and anything, and it was kind of it wasn't a very exciting rehearsal. But, well, at least something got done. But again, I was still not thinking anything, because all of this history of nothing moving forward. But then 2022 turned in 2023, and he called me and said, it's going to take a while for that big band to take off. So how would you be interested in doing some gigs as a trio? I said, man, I'm always interested in doing some gigs. So he had a bass player in mind. We did a rehearsal. Following week, we filmed some promo videos. And since then, we have been working regularly, 3 times a month. And for a trio that started in February, now this is end of April. So it's 2 months old. The trio is only 2 months old. It would be very unlikely that a trio band, whatever you want to call it, that new, would already be working regularly. And there you go. The truth is, we never know. So sometimes the thing that we think is going to last forever doesn't go anywhere. Sometimes the thing we don't pay too much attention is what keeps us working and opens a lot of doors. This is what I want to leave you with this time, this thought. You never know. Take every opportunity you have, make it a good impact. Give it your best. You never know. You might be playing a gig and this top manager is going to be there and he's going to watch your band and going to say, wow, I want to work with these guys. Or another guitarist. So you're playing at the pub level, and then there's this guitarist who has an international career, and this guitarist not only needs a drummer, if you're a drummer, but he needs a band. He or she needs a band, and your band is great. This guitarist might think, oh, I'm going to take this band to be my support band when I'm out on the road. We never know. And sometimes you have all of these things lined up. We're about to sign a record deal. The studio has been booked. Everything is in line, and something happens and nothing goes forward, because that's the nature of the music business. Sometimes a guy you gave up because it's never going to happen is the guy who will get you the next job. Sometimes the guy you're following all the time because you think he's going to give you a job, 2 weeks later, he doesn't have a job anymore. He or she doesn't have a job anymore. So as I said in the very first phrase in this video, the truth is we never know. Okay, so if you arrived up to this point in the video, say, I'm here. And write in the comments, I'm here. If you liked it, press like. If you didn't like, press you didn't like. I want to know. Okay? No, I won't take it personally. Thank you very much. See you on the next video. Bye.